Welcome to American Broadcasting Station. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine is now losing 60 to 100 soldiers each day in combat. In the first 100 days of war, Colonel Alexander Makachek's grave was the 40th that the diggers have dug in the military cemetery in Zhytomyr, 90 miles, 140 kilometers, west of the capital, Kyiv. He was killed May 30 in the Luhansk region of eastern Ukraine, where the fighting is raging. Nearby, the burial notice on the freshly dug grave of Vyacheslav Dvornitsky says he died May 27. Other graves also showed soldiers killed within days of each other on May 10, 9th, 7th, and 5th. And this is just one cemetery in just one of Ukraine's cities, towns and villages laying soldiers to rest. President Volodymyr Zelensky says among the comrades in arms who paid respects to Makachek at his funeral on Friday was General Viktor Mizhenko, the Armed Forces Chief of General Staff until 2019. He warned that losses could worsen. "This is one of the critical moments in the war, but it is not the peak," he told American Broadcasting Station. "This is the most significant conflict in Europe since World War II. That explains why the losses are so great. In order to reduce losses, Ukraine now needs powerful weapons that match or even surpass Russian weaponry. This would enable Ukraine to respond in kind." Retired Lieutenant General Ben Hodges, the former commanding general of U.S. Army forces in Europe, described the Russian strategy as a medieval attrition approach and said that until Ukraine gets promised deliveries of U.S., British, and other weapons to destroy and disrupt Russian batteries, these kinds of casualties are going to continue. "This battlefield is so much more lethal than what we all became accustomed to over the 20 years of Iraq and Afghanistan. That level of attrition would include leaders, sergeants," he added. "They are a lot of the brunt of casualties because they are more exposed, constantly moving around trying to do things." Ukraine had about 250,000 men and women in uniform before the war and was in the process of adding another 100,000. The government hasn't said how many have been killed in the first 100 days of fighting. Nobody really knows how many combatants or civilians have died on both sides, and claims of casualties by government officials who may sometimes be exaggerating or lowballing their figures for public relations reasons are all but impossible to verify. Still, as Ukraine's losses mount, the grim mathematics of war require that it find replacements. With a population of 43 million, it has manpower. The problem is recruiting, training and getting them on the front line, said retired U.S. Marine Colonel Mark Kanchan, a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. "If the war is now moving into a long-term attrition struggle, then you have to build systems to get replacements," he said. "This has been a difficult moment for every army in combat." Mizhenko, the Ukrainian general, said Zelensky's admission of high casualties would further galvanize Ukrainian morale and that more Western weaponry would help turn the tide. "The more Ukrainians know about what is happening at the front, the more the will to resist will grow," he said. "Yes, the losses are significant. But with the help of our allies, we can minimize and reduce them and move on to successful offensives. This will require powerful weapons." Kindly subscribe for more updates.